to your music. Like listen, I'm a fan.
I appreciate you. That's tight.
I'm a fan. Like, I was just like, what was the one I was listening to? High Class Hippie. I really
Heck yeah.
enjoyed that. That was like, there's like two things that I think of is because your music's like really nostalgic. Like back in the day when VH1 would have like those, they would just play music videos all day.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I think of, or like something I hear on 2K in the while I'm
That's
like,
funny.
selecting like features for my players or like trying to select different things. Like that's just something I would hear in the background.
Man, High Class Hippie was a vibe. It's a vibe for sure. I like that song a lot too. I'm actually thinking about shooting a video for it, like probably within the next 2 weeks.
That's what's up. That's
Heck yeah.
great. I really thoroughly enjoy your music. That one
That
and
is tight.
what is it? The one I was just listening to, is it Country California Girl?
Yeah, that song's gonna blow up too.
I really like it.
It's actually gonna take off. I appreciate you. I'm gonna tell you on some real stuff. Like it's a better feeling when people like the music more than liking me more as a punter, which may sound kind of weird, but yeah.
Why is that?
Just cause it's something that anything that you create, like I'm sure you're gonna eventually create your own show eventually with what you got going on. So like you just feel it's just different when people say they like something that you've actually created, even though the Raiders were already created, football was already created. Like yeah. So I don't know what it's just a different type of appreciation you get from it.
I can understand that. Like you put a lot of time and effort into, your music, your craft. So I would assume that it feels good when people just like, I really like your music. Is there ever a case where people are like, know you as Marquette, the musician versus like Marquette, the punter?
I mean, internationally, yeah, like they'll reach out to me, but then later they'll be like, I didn't know you played football in America. Like, it's cool. But like in the US, it's a lot harder.
Right.
Yeah, they only see me as a football player. So like it's almost like they don't even want to accept me as something else. Like they only saw me as that and they want to only see me as that. So and that's the fun part though. I enjoy like switching up how they see me, period. Because I'm more than like one thing, Same thing with you. I'm sure you're multi-dimensional when it comes to you as a human.
Does it make you like want to push harder to like put out music because you're like, I'm not just like a punter, like I can do music, I can create vlogs because I've seen your vlogs and things like that, like I can do it all? Because sometimes I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of athletes out there that put out music and you're like, yeah.
It's trendy. It's trendy. It's like some people try to like fit into this vibe that everybody else likes instead of like just making what they enjoy making, Because I'm a firm believer, like you make what you like and then the right people will be attracted to you or to whatever you create.
Exactly. Completely agree. I do want to jump into some sports because, that you are, like everybody knows, one of 5 Black punters. So I just want to kind of like revisit. So it's I, as someone that's graduated from an HBCU, I know it's hard to transition to like a professional career. And that's quite an understatement for like the NFL. It's very rare from coming from an HBCU to transition into the NFL. So what was like that journey like?
It was definitely different. The first thing that I noticed when I went from HBCU to the NFL was that you didn't have to pay for the water or the Gatorades that you got when you walk down the hallway. So like that was one of the main ones. Like huh?
I said, oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a little different. Let's see, just you get pampered a lot more, I feel like, when you're in the NFL. Like, similar to like how probably players dealt with in D1 schools where they got everything they needed. They didn't have to worry about nothing. And I think coming from an HBCU, you kind of had to stay on top of your stuff. Like, they weren't finna just give you or just straight up cater to you 100% of the time. Like, you had to earn yours. You had to go put some kind of work in to earn what you had. So HBCU definitely prepared me for that. Fort Valley prepared me for that for sure.
Oh, I completely agree. I was going to ask, because you know how going to an HBCU, we tend to overcompensate when it comes to curriculum, professionalism, just going out into the real world, excuse me, because we know that we have to do more than our white counterparts just to be kind of on the same playing field. So did you feel like that when you were, on the Raiders and you were competing for that starting position? Did you feel like you had to do more?
Heck yeah, for sure. I mean, coming from HBCU, that's one of the main things we're taught. Like, we gotta work 10 times harder. There's no even playing field. So I definitely knew I was at a disadvantage, especially at the position I was playing. You just gotta. I just work 10 times harder. I make sure I do things that I know other people aren't doing at that position to make sure, even when I do have a bad day, my bad day is still better than somebody else's average day,
Yeah, I completely understand. And so with you working harder and things like that, was it ever a time where you thought, I guess when you were in college, did you ever think that, if playing in the NFL doesn't work out, this is my backup plan, or I majored in this, I can do this, just if it
Mm.
doesn't work out?
I don't think I ever had a backup plan. That was something that worked out for me. Everybody has a different walk of life. Um, and sometimes my parents would be like, you need to have a plan B, plan C. And I'm like, I just don't know, because I feel like when you have a plan B or a plan C, you're expecting yourself to fail. And I've always, whatever I do, everything's a plan A. If something doesn't work out, then you just reroute while you're in that moment. Like, you just stay in the moment and keep focusing on trying to be the best at that. And sometimes you do got to take a hard fall before you go up, because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But I never bleed in plan Bs, plan Cs. I just go full throttle. And if it's meant to happen, it's going to happen. But that's not for you to decide. Like, you just continue doing it, you continue fighting, and then you'll see progression. But it's all about consistency.
You seem like a really positive person just by talking to you now. Seeing your posts, it reflects in your music as well. How, like, throughout your journey, how have you been able to stay positive and keep that positive vibe?
Not gonna lie, it was some parts where it was dark, like super dark for me. So like, I think um I think ultimately though, just knowing that you can't control everything and everybody, and the only thing you can really control is what you have control over. That was one thing that definitely pushed me to the point to where I'm at now. Um, but at the same time, it's like, I'm happy with who I am. I feel like it's a lot of people in different industries that put on this front to be somebody that they're not. And I think one of the main things is staying true to who I am as a person. And that's one of the main things that help it me keeping my happiness. Because it'll have to suck to put on this front to be somebody that you're not for a long time just because of a position that you're in. And then when you're not in that position, then you look back and you look around, you don't have any legit or true friends because you were being this fake person, or you were being somebody that you weren't the whole time. So I feel like my happiness is way more important than any of this.
I completely respect that. I think I've gotten to a point where now it's just kind of like, I won't say I don't care, but I don't let little small stuff that just kind of would have bothered me in the past bother me now, because it's just,
Mhm.
what can you do?
Exactly. Exactly.
Now,
Yeah.
your time in the NFL, it didn't last. You went to the XFL. You were in St. Louis. What was that what was that transition like?
At the beginning, I didn't want to do it because I know statistically looking at my numbers and me being in the top of the NFL with it, even still, I knew I didn't belong in the XFL. And it's like, man, what did I do to have myself in this position? Like, I've seen players do certain things like get in trouble, whatever, whatnot, clean record, not doing nothing crazy, not treating people like trash. And here I am going to the XFL. I've seen other punters come in from after 2 seasons, not being in the league and still getting a fair shot. And it's like, man, well, why does my trail of going back to the NFL to do this have to be so difficult? So I was definitely struggling to go into the XFL because I knew statistically I didn't belong in the XFL. And not talking down about the XFL helped a lot of players get seen and just get better as people and at their positions, period. But it was a struggle because I'm like, man, I'm an all pro and people are still like purposely overlooking me. Like that was how I was looking at things. And I was just really angry about that because it's like, man, why me? Like, why do I gotta go through this? And but little did I know, playing in the XFL helped me find my happiness with the game again and become more passionate with it more than ever because going there, the fans show even more love than I've ever gotten in football, period.
Being that you're working to go back into the NFL and that eventually we know that's going to happen, we're speaking that into existence.
Mm-hmm.
How do you advocate your position to those that are younger than you? I mean, it's such a rare position. How do you advocate that to those that are that come after you so that it's not such a rare thing to see a Black punter?
You just got to keep going. Like I've gotten a lot of younger Black kickers, punters, or minorities just reach out to me, ask for advice and stuff, but I don't think one person can do it by themselves. That's another lesson I learned. You can't, especially dealing with the music, like you can't do none of this by yourself. So I don't know, I can talk about how sometimes I feel like I'm not getting a fair shot or whatnot, but it can't just be me. Like it has to be a group. Like it can't just be one person to push that. But I mean, we just got to keep going. We got to keep swinging our leg as hard as we can, kicking the ball as high and as far as we can, and just to the point where we just can't be denied anymore.